The Secretary of Defense.
Huh?
And fun bags over there is the Attorney General.
And that's Secretary of Education.
It's kind of stupid. He's President Camacho's stepbrother.
Yeah, the movie Idiocracy every single day becomes more of a documentary than a fictional film, because what the fuck do you mean Donald Trump and the US Pentagon just accidentally invaded Mexico? And I know I sound a little flippant here for what this is, but it's because I'm genuinely just so fucking flabbergasted. Like, every single headline just gets somehow even more embarrassing and crazier. U.S. troops storm Mexican beach in major escalation amid alarming standoff. U.S. troops storm Mexican beach after Trump's bomb threat as tensions erupt. Now, clearly, there's a lot to get to and break down here, but this is serious stuff, right? We're not even at the point we were, God even fucking remembers how many months ago, where it was like, pretending to threaten to invade Canada, but not really, threatening to take over Greenland militarily, and then now to something super real, like bombing Venezuelan fishermen and just claiming, oh, I guess they were drug lords. Despite an outpouring of international condemnation, I mean, the UK stopped sharing military secret intelligence with us because they said Trump was committing international war crimes by bombing those boats. So just keep that in mind as we go through these reports, that like the guy in charge of our fucking military, in charge of everything, that just called for Democrats to be hung for telling military people not to follow unlawful orders. I mean, I cannot think of a more, I'm fucking flabbergasted. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to save my thought. I don't even have thoughts. Let's just play this clip and then we'll break everything down. I just made a video too about the protest, the Remove the Regime protest going on in DC. So definitely check that out. It's going on all weekend. And again, every time I press record, it's another fucking reason why this guy shouldn't be in office. Starting with this.
Have obtained exclusive video from the environmental agency Conivio Global, where you can see Mexican Marines removing the signs, warning signs that suddenly appeared on the Mexican land, an area known as Playa Baghdad. We're told that the persons who allegedly placed the signs came from the U.S. side of the border and can be seen in these pictures. The signs say that this is a restricted area and property of the Department of Defense. It also states that unauthorized entry is prohibited. And if you're found here, you may be detained and searched. But within hours, the Mexican Marines taking the signs down from the beach that is frequented by Mexican beachgoers and fishermen.
Se pusieron unos letreros de límites.
The president of Mexico said a U.S. office later did admit hiring a company to put up the signs, arguing that the river shifts and the treaty requires the boundary to be clearly redefined.
Right. So keep that in mind, okay? Men hired by a private company. Right. That's what we hear from the most transparent administration in history, right?
We call out the fake news when we see it. We're very outspoken about that, but we will also work with good journalists who want to write good stories and try to make those stories as accurate as possible.
Right. Thank you for that, KK Caroline. I just wanted to make sure I'm being as accurate as possible so I don't get called out as fake news. But you might want to check your Department of War sources, because guess what? U.S. troops, that's a private company now? Okay. Stormed a beach in Mexico as Donald Trump seemingly threatened to bomb the country. They arrived on Monday, November 17th, and drove 6 signs into the sand before Mexican security was alerted. The unidentified men arrived at the beach in northeast Mexico by boat. Although the exact location has not been confirmed, a video on social media that we just saw suggests that they were located at a beach known as Playa Baghdad. The signs they planted read, "Warning, restricted area," in English and Spanish. They also stated that the area was Department of Defense property and that unauthorized entry is prohibited. What is the Department of Defense exactly? Because to my knowledge, under President Donald Trump, much like the Gulf of Mexico became the Gulf of America, the Defense Department, I can't even talk, is now called the War Department, right? The Department of War. Oh, but the stupidity goes so much fucking deeper, folks. Way deeper than these signs, apparently, that they easily pulled out of the ground. According to the Daily Mail, local security rushed to the scene on trucks mounted with machine guns. The Mexican Ministry of Foreign Affairs has since confirmed that the Navy removed the signs. I believe they said the Marines in the video. The following day, the Pentagon has been forced into a humiliating statement, saying the men were mistaken on landing on the beach located in an area where the Rio Grande, a river which originates in the U.S., flows into the Gulf of Mexico. They said the personnel had been sent to mark National Defense Area 3. The Pentagon statement says, changes in water depth and topography altered the perception of the international boundaries location. Government of Mexico personnel removed 6 signs based on their perception of the international boundaries location. And this comes immediately after, as we just reported the other day in the video about Donald Trump's dementia, Donald Trump said he would be okay launching strikes on Mexico to fight drug smuggling.
Are you planning on also potentially launching strikes in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with the
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is... Look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir.
I don't know who the 15% would be.
Yep.
It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
No, I think it's been...
Tons and tons of
you would say that's a big signal.
Absolutely.
We have almost no drugs coming into our country by the sea, by, the waterways. And you know why, okay? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Would I do that on the land corridors? I would absolutely. Look, every boat we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. Not to mention the destruction of families. These families are decimated forever. The mother, the father, the children, they never recover really from it. When you lose somebody like the way they live.
Setting aside the sycophantic nature of all of those people surrounding him, just telling a clearly dementia-ridden, like, Benjamin Button reverting to the fucking form of his toddler-esque, struggling to speak, incoherent mush brain. I'm sorry, it's not mush, it's bowling ball smooth. The shit-stained Weekend at Bernie's excuse of a man has the audacity to sit there and talk about invading Mexico before this news was public. Meanwhile, he is currently bombing Venezuelan fishing boats that no one, aside from goons in his most transparent administration in history, have been able to prove are fucking actual drug lords. What about those families? What about the families of the American citizens whose health care you're taking away? What about the families of the people your best friend Jeffrey Epstein victimized and trafficked for decades with your knowledge, allegedly? And here's where I'm actually going to take back something I said earlier. This is not the movie Idiocracy, okay? Because at least there, the stupidity was kind of funny. Sure. It caused a famine in the movie, if you don't recall, because they were trying to water their plants with an energy drink. And I'm sure there were repercussions to that, but I don't even think the writers of that movie had the serious repercussions on a global scale or on a personal individual scale of the absolute tragedy that Donald Trump and his stupid fucking moronic imbecilic base and administration are inflicting on Americans, on global citizens, and on humanity as a whole. Imagine sitting there in God knows how long and telling your kids or your grandkids, right? Oh, how did things get so bad? What sparked World War III? Tell me about the history of Oh, well, Donald Trump's Pentagon accidentally fucking invaded Mexico because the river shifted, and he said some dumbass shit that someone accidentally misrepresented, and that pissed off the Mexican government, and then there was a standoff between US troops and Mexican troops, and after that, everything just cascaded. It was a house of cards, there was no stopping anything, and we all went to war. Not even 10 years ago. That would have sounded as far-fetched as the plot of the movie Idiocracy. Today, a prophetic cautionary tale What the fuck, folks? And look, I apologize. I probably could have done more research and presented this story in a more factual manner, I guess, or whatever. But as much as we bring you the news here at Really American, we bring you our opinion and our take, and we try to bring you what the reality is. Because if the mainstream media wants to cover this and say, oh, it was a international altercation and and act like this is a fucking normal thing, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to become normal. And then people are going to justify it. And then Trump's goons are going to have the ability to push back. Pete Hegseth's going to take a fat swig and go on CNN and say, no, you guys are wrong, no, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll clip that and put it on Fox News for the fucking morons to sit there and soak up so they can regurgitate, so they don't have to actually have any kind of feeling of responsibility. They don't have to sit there and do the hard work to think, hey, maybe this guy who I idolize and put on a pedestal and really want to suck his dick even though I'm not gay, maybe he could actually be kind of bad. Maybe he doesn't know what he's fucking doing. Anyway, I haven't had a good rant in a bit now, so I appreciate it if you're still around and you let me do this. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna fucking sit here and call a spade when I see a fucking spade. A spade that could blow up in our faces and cost the lives of even more people. Actually, here's a fun little fucking statistic from Donald Trump's Idiocracy administration here for you to take with you and tell the people and share. USAID, the government program that provided food and nutrition assistance for hundreds of thousands, millions of people around the world, the one that Elon Musk cut the billionaire because he had his fucking chainsaw and he was like, oh, we're gonna cut out the bureaucracy. Yeah, that shutdown has caused the deaths of an estimated over 600,000 people, 2/3 of which were fucking children. Thoughts and prayers, right, pro-lifers? Thoughts and prayers. We don't know how many of them were American children, so who fucking cares, right? Literally go fuck yourself. Take one boot and lick it and just shove it down your throat and take the other one and force it all the way up your rectum. And then once you've done that and you start to say, oh, I regret my vote for Trump, that's when we can come have a conversation and we can be like, okay, let's put you on a path to rehabilitation. Because before you do that, before you shove one boot squarely down your throat, if you voted for Trump, and you shove another boot all the way up your ass and get an actual hemorrhoid, get some preparation H, take care of it, then I feel comfortable having a conversation with you. Because that's where we're at right now. Respectfully. Fucking hell. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you guys in the next one.